Okay, December 10th, 2019. I missed a few days. I was having some phone issues, but I'm back for the daily wisdom motivation. And today I want to talk about our abode, our body. Okay, this is where we inhabit our whole life. Our body is our abode. And in regards to our body, let's talk about vibration consumption. What we consume mentally, physically, emotionally, we become, essentially. And so we are entering a period right now of seeming acceleration. And we have an opportunity to really lift our vibration as individuals and as a species. So it is no accident that vegetarianism and veganism is rampant and gaining a lot of popularity because it is operating at a higher frequency. Meat, dairy, things like this. There's nothing inherently wrong about these products or consuming these products. They're just vibrating at lower frequencies than fruits, vegetables, nuts and seeds, etc. There's less karmic weight to a vegetarian and vegan diet versus a carnivorous or omnivorous diet. So yeah, and that also goes into like what you're consuming on the television or movies. So that's going to be more subjective that you'll have to figure out on your own. But I really want to talk about physical consumption right now because for me that's a big thing. I'm only consuming raw food. Well, basically only raw food. 95+% raw food, and that's because it's vibrating higher. If my path is toward wisdom, and wisdom goes from gross, overt, to subtle and minute. Think of it like a wave that's, that the frequency just gets higher and higher and higher, and then you can eventually pop out into eternity, into what's permanent. So, and it's all tied in with the emotional, spiritual, mental aspect. So as I'm eating more and more raw food, and keep in mind, these foods, like fruits and vegetables, particularly raw, are vibrating much, much higher than anything you cook. Because when you cook something, you burn it, you denature it, okay? Whereas raw is unadulterated and natural, as nature intended it. So I don't want to get into the politics of diet and this diet being better and this. It's not about that. For me, it's what's more effective at vibrating higher, and that is taking in higher vibration foods. And this is objective. They can take the angstroms of a piece of fruit. They can look at it with Kirlian photography, where you can see the aura that it is emanating. And so, and these frequencies oscillate with higher emotions too, like joy and gratitude, empathy for others, just an expansiveness. Whereas, and you can see it in the food chain too. Look at like a cat, a carnivore, and they can be very angry animals. Whereas you move to an herbivore, for example, like a horse or a cow, who can also be angry, but generally more docile and calm. And and then moving all the way to frugivores and humans, that can be, basically light years ahead as far as emotional intelligence and extremely calm and wise. So be aware of what you're consuming, because even though it's just a viewpoint, my viewpoint is changing as far as what I think about cooked food and just food in general. Cooked food, I think, is more of a stimulant than it is actual nutrition, whereas raw food is much less of a stimulant, although it does stimulate, and much more nutritious. And so keep in mind also that the crap that we've been eating for years and years and years, if you're on this journey of awakening, which is to me synonymous with detoxification of the body and mind, then you've got a lot of crap built in, not built in, but that you've held on to. I'm not going to get into the details of like mucoid plaque and mucus, all that, but all that stuff is still within. There's parasites that affect your decisions, that affect your emotions, and that has to come out. And those are all operating at very low frequencies. Okay, so what happens when you start eating these higher frequency foods is that those lower frequency things within you start arising. Those emotions, those parasites, all those things are kicking and screaming. And it can be very unpleasant and almost manic at times. And the only way out is through, folks. That's it. The only way out is through. So taking care of the body. And this might not be the path for everyone. Okay, for me, it's resonating that cleaning the physical body is the same as cleaning my mind, is the same as cleaning my spirit. I'm not differentiating them, and I don't see them differently. But I imagine for some people, cleaning the body is not going to be as important as cleaning their mind or cleaning their house, etc. But it all starts within. And I think that's why I was plateauing when I was meditating so much, is because there was this story that the body is impermanent and therefore it doesn't really matter. And that's true. The body is impermanent. We will have to let it go at some point. But I'm seeing now that the body really is the vessel that we are able to experience peace, able to experience joy, gratitude, permanence, the kingdom of heaven. So I'm taking this much more seriously, and I used to take it just as seriously in my early 20s, and then kind of fell off a bit and just really was more focused on my mind. And now I'm oscillating back into taking care of the body as well as the mind. Now that I've kind of seen both of the schools, I'm integrating from both of those things. So yeah, be careful with what you eat. It's a process. It's definitely a process. But the more fruits, the more vegetables that you can eat raw, that's going to lift your vibration. So, all right, y'all. Much love to you. Take care.